Hi, Pericles. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Elijah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. And thank you so very much for coming, That means a whole lot. Thank you, man. Okay. Yeah, Pericles, I am so excited to have you on the show for diverse reasons. But firstly, I strictly believe that knowledge is the solution to what's problem. You know, Something that someone knows that the one in position and power lacks the insight, and now it's just doing anyhow. So knowledge would put an end to that problem. I believe so. And secondly, I believe that there are some things that that some of my audience needs to hear this stuff directly from your mouth in order to experience
Mm,
transformation. I firmly believe that. And thirdly, even I myself, I am just so excited because I know that I am definitely going to learn one or two things from your insights, your story, your experiences. So for that reason, I want us to
thank you.
get started with your introduction, your journey so far, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame this stuff. So afterwards, I've got some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Pericles,
Of
over
course.
to you.
Yes, of course, Elijah. Thank you. Well, 30 years ago, I was a business coach, and my focus was really helping my clients earn more money for businesses. And for some people, it was just individuals. They wanted to earn more, they wanted to be able to keep more. And what I found very quickly was, regardless of how much more money my clients made, and they made more money, same place at the end of every month. So if when they started working with me, they were always just treading water around their finances, they were still just treading water. If they were always behind, they were still behind. If they had anxiety or stress or worry around money, it was still there. And I realized there had to be something to this because it was very common across all of my clients. So I started to study it and research it. And for 2 years, I really looked at why is this happening with my clients? And I learned two things out of that time. Number one, we all have a money mindset. I like to call it our financial thermostat. And that financial thermostat actually determines how much money we can make, how much money we can earn, as well as our thoughts, feelings, and emotions around money. And then the second thing I learned was how to reset our financial thermostat so that we could actually earn more money, we could keep more money, and we could start having the experience of joy and fulfillment in our relationship to money. And so for the last 25 years, that's what I've been focusing on as a money mindset expert.
Beautiful. You're doing a great. Your content actually surrounds the very important stuff in the world because most people are actually battling with, you know, that money mindset that you mentioned and, managing and all of that. So I feel like this is going to be a very great content, I tell you. Okay, so shall we get to the questions?
Sure.
Hmm. Okay, so you mentioned financial thermostat. So I want you to talk to us more about that. What is a financial thermostat? Can you talk to us?
Yeah, if you look at your life, and this is for anybody that's listening, if you look at your life and you notice that there are specific patterns in your relationship to money. So, for example, I know some people who are, oh, it's always something that comes up. I'll make a little extra money and then something shows up that will have me have to pay for it and I'll lose that money. It'll disappear. Or if you're someone who constantly has stress and worry around money, no matter how much you make, these are all indicative of your financial thermostat. A financial thermostat is just like a thermostat in our home. So if you imagine you set your thermostat in your house at 72 degrees, that's the perfect temperature. But it's really hot outside and you open the doors or you open the windows and that hot air starts to flow in. Well, what does that thermostat do? It kicks on and it immediately turns on the AC to bring that temperature of the room back down to 72 degrees. Well, it's exactly the same way for us as human beings with our financial thermostats. We see it all the time in People who win the lotto, great example. The majority of them, almost 80% of them, go bankrupt within the first 5 years. How does that happen? Well, their financial thermostats aren't set to manage that kind of wealth. So it instantly kicks on, and you start seeing them doing everything they can to disappear that money. They're buying homes, they're making risky investments, they're just blowing it on anything and everything because their financial thermostat has kicked on. And it absolutely has to disappear all that money and bring it back down to whatever their setting is. So once we've determined what our financial thermostat setting is, then we can look at how do I shift my or reset my financial thermostat so I can actually earn more money every single month, and I can start to have those feelings of joy and fulfillment around money rather than being in the hamster wheel. I've got to earn more, I've got to earn more, I've got to earn more, and I'm never happy or never content.
Beautiful. Amazing. That was a great discovery. Nah, nah, nah. Okay, okay. We still have some questions here. Can you talk
Sure.
to us about the top five worst money habits?
There are a lot of, I'll give you a few of them. Number
Okay.
one is you have no idea where your money goes every month. You just spend money and you're not paying attention to what you're spending it on. Not knowing how much money you're spending every single month is a huge money breakdown. That is a bad money habit and one you want to shift right away. You should know exactly where your money is flowing every month and how much in each one of those areas that it's flowing. That would be the first and foremost. Clients that I work with get the biggest breakthroughs just out of looking at where they're spending their money. Because at the end of that exercise, they realize, I had no idea I was spending all this money on things I didn't even know I was spending money on. So number one with a bullet, where does your money go? The second is, and this is based on a distinction that I've created around money. Money's an energy. It flows like a current, like electricity or water. So if we take the example of electricity, it flows like a current because it's a currency. So money flows in a circle. It flows to us, through us, and away from us, and then back around to us, through us, and away from us. So we intersect that circle. And there's a reservoir on the side that we get to keep. So the next two biggest things that I would talk to people about that are breakdowns or bad money habits is one, resent or blocks in the, I'm going to say resenting the wealthy or resenting your boss or resenting blocks in the flow of money coming to us. Now, on the other side of that, money flowing away from us, you're somebody who doesn't pay your bills on time. You've got the money, but you just don't want to pay them on time, or you don't like paying people on time, or you're somebody who just likes to hold on to money. Those are all blocks in the flow of money going away from us. So a block anywhere in that flow, because it's circular, is a block everywhere in the flow. So look to see what kind of blocks do you have in the flow of money, both coming to you and going away from you. Because remember, there's that reservoir on the side that we get to keep, and that money flowing in that circle feeds that reservoir on the side that we get to keep. So start to notice where are the blocks and clear those blocks. And then the last one I would leave you with, or leave your clients or listeners with, is what are your negative thoughts and opinions about money? Do you evil? Do you think money brings bad things? Do you have some other thought or feeling around money that's negative? You see, money isn't negative. Money isn't positive. It isn't evil. It isn't good. It's just money. It doesn't have any inherent value to it unless we give it value. It doesn't have an inherent emotion around it unless we give it to it. So look to see if you think money is the root of all evil, you will not be able to become wealthy. If
Oh,
you resent the wealthy, you will not be able to become wealthy because we can't become that which we resent. And there are no distinctions in, well, super wealthy versus just kind of wealthy. If I give you 1 penny today, that means you're more wealthy than you were a minute ago by 1 penny. Therefore, you are wealthier. And so if you resent the wealthy, you will not be able to become wealthy because you can't become that which you resent.
oh, beautiful. I got that. You can't become that which you resent.
Yes.
Very educating stuff. Let's say someone asks you, okay, what's the reason why I just can't manifest more money? I just
Mm.
can't manifest more money. What would your response be?
There are a lot of people that are experiencing that. They do all of these programs and courses on manifesting money and seem to work for them. What I would say is your money mindset or your financial thermostat has a block or has a setting that will not allow you to manifest additional money. It's that simple. Start to look to see what are your negative opinions? What are your negative emotions? Or, like I said earlier, if you resent the wealthy, I don't care what kind of manifestation work you do, you will never be able to manifest more money because you, like I said, can't become that which you resent. If you're afraid, one of the things for me, when I was growing up as a kid, my mom said, I think I was 6 or 7 years old. We were watching one of these shows. I'm going to date myself here. We were watching one of these shows on the lifestyles of the rich and famous and how their lives are miserable. And at the end of the show, my mother said, with no agenda, she just said it as a very passing thing. I never want to have that kind of money. You lose your whole family. And in that moment, in my mind, I made up as a kid, you never want to have a lot of money because you will lose your family. But I didn't know that that was going on. I didn't know it was operating in the background, kind of like an operating system in our computer. It just is there in the background running the show, just like our financial thermostats. And it became a glass ceiling for me of not being able to get above that in terms of income. And as soon as I noticed it and I cleared that block and I shifted that mindset, suddenly I was able to earn more. Suddenly I was able to keep more. And I never had that fear of losing my family again. So if you're
Mhm.
looking to manifest, look to see where your blocks are and then clear those blocks, do your manifestation, and you will start to see a shift.
Um, okay, what of those ones who, they're still battling with the old thought that they got from their parents? So how can they change them?
Yes. First and foremost is don't battle the thought. We cannot win a battle with our minds. I tell all of my clients, whatever those thoughts are that come up that are negative around money, own it, acknowledge it, recognize it, say, oh, wow, I just noticed I have this really negative thought about money. It's the root of all evil, and I don't want to become evil. It's the root of all evil. Rather than battling that thought, acknowledge it. Own that you have that thought. Then set the thought aside. Now, create another thought, generate another thought that's more empowering. I love money and what it can provide for myself and my family. I love money and what it can provide for myself and my family with a new positive thought. Write that thought down. Look at that thought first thing in the morning. Look at that thought before you go to bed at night and bookend your day with that empowering thought around money. And negative thought comes up, again, acknowledge it. Oh, thank you. I hear you. I can own that I have that, but that's not what I'm committed to. So I'm just going to set that aside and then redeclare that thought again. This is what money is for me.
Beautiful. I love how you explain that. Okay, so that's going to lead us to a very important one. Okay, so does money really make one happy? Does it make us happy?
There's a lot of evidence out there. And so happy when I have X number of dollars, or I'll be so happy when I buy this new car, or I have this new watch, or whatever that thing may be. Money doesn't actually provide us with the happiness we think it does. Happiness truly comes from within. When we can accomplish with ourselves a sense of joy and happiness, fulfillment and contentment, all the things that money can provide, it will provide, but we will find much more joy and satisfaction out of it. Now, here's my evidence for that. Almost all of the clients I've ever worked with, and if you will say, I will be happy when I make X number of dollars. And then what generally happens is they start making X number of dollars and they think, yeah, I'm not happy yet. So now I just need to make this much money. And so we get into that vicious cycle or that hamster wheel of if I just get to this place, I'll be happy. And then we get there, we're not happy. Okay, we set another goal for ourselves. It's a fantasy. It's a goal we can never achieve or accomplish or arrive at. We live our lives on a journey. We may set milestones for ourselves. I want to get to this place. Great. But what happens the minute we get there? We create another milestone. We create another goal. So we live most of our lives on the sense of joy and satisfaction right now. Then, whatever money does come to you in whatever amount, you will be able to enjoy it even more. I have lots of things that I love. I surround myself with things that I find joy and pleasure in, but they're not the source of my joy and pleasure and happiness in life. I'm the source of my own joy and happiness and fulfillment. But when I see something that I love, like the painting behind me, I can find more contentment in it, more satisfaction in it, rather than I need it to make me happy. I'm happy already, and then the things around me bring me even more joy and happiness.
In happiness. Oh, I love that. I love that. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was well explained. That was well explained. I love that. Okay, so it has been an interesting moment with you on the show, I tell you. So to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with? Like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, let me know about what you do.
Anyone who'd like to find out more can go to my website. There are two places you can go: resetyourfinancialthermostat.com or periclesrellas.com. They both go to the same place, and you can watch my free masterclass where I take a deep dive into what our financial thermostat is and the 4 things you need to do to reset your financial thermostat. Now, to answer the first part of your question, which is what's the last thing I'd like to leave people with? Not